Imagine Mad Max crashing head-on into Mario Kart. That is exactly what we have thrown ourselves into today with Flatout 4 Total Insanity running fully immersive inside the Pimax Dream Air. And today you can forget about the precise braking points and serious racing lines. It's all about pure, unadulterated chaos with the Pimax Dream Air powering this uncompressed PCVR experience. Every shattering windshield and every fire explosion looks incredibly crisp. But beneath the demolition derbies and nitro boosts, there's some genuinely surprising content here. Between the ridiculous ragdoll minigames and explosive track hazards, this title might just earn a permanent spot on your gaming radar. If you're looking for a completely chaotic, incredibly fun VR blast to jump into with your friends, you need to see this. Just as you would expect in Next Level Sim Gaming, we're here on the Pimax Dream Air and we're turning everything up to the max. Ultra settings, high settings, and also we're running DLSS Quality, and we'll see how it runs in the game. Alright, kicking things off with a standard quick race, and I have to be completely honest here, the visuals genuinely took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting an older arcade style racer to pop quite like this in VR. But the environments and the vehicular carnage look absolutely fantastic. Now let's talk numbers and settings because I know you guys love the technical breakdown. So I'm running this through Pimax Play set to a 1.0 high render resolution, and inside the game absolutely everything, as you saw, is completely ramped up to maximum. Every shadow, every particle effect maxed out. Now with of course the RTX 5090 doing the heavy lifting, we're getting a very respectable 84 frames per second. While running this in 90Hz mode, and it feels incredibly smooth, even when the screen is filled with flying tyres and exploding debris, the edge-to-edge clarity that we would expect from a Dream Air. It is crisp, it is fast, and it's holding up beautifully under absolute total insanity. And on the right hand side of the screen, as you always would expect from Next Level Sim Gaming, you can also see some through the lens footage which was shot on my iPhone 17 Pro Max. Many of you have been reaching out asking to see a wider variety of games pushed to the limit on the Pimax Dream Air and also on the Pimax Super. So if you want to see more of these VR mini reviews alongside my usual sim racing setup content, then drop a comment down below and let me know what you'd like to see next. Also, full transparency here, this game was not provided to me by the developers. I purchased the early access version out of my own pocket, and definitely keep that in mind because this is an early access VR release. We can probably expect even more updates and optimizations to come down the road. So the quick race was an absolute blast, but trust me, this game has a whole lot more chaos packed into it. Let's take a look at what else is actually included. But if we are talking about the absolute peak of Flatout 4 VR, we have to talk about Arena Mode. For those of you who remember playing the original Flatout titles on the PS2 back in the day, this is going to hit you right in the nostalgia. It is that classic, unapologetic demolition derby format, but experiencing it from inside the cockpit changes everything. When you're sitting in the driver's seat, the scale of the carnage is just incredible. You aren't watching a car from a third-person camera anymore, you are physically checking your side, looking through your mirrors, and bracing for impact as a rival driver T-bones you at 50 miles an hour. It's intense, it's visceral, and frankly it's exactly what VR was made for. But where this game truly shines is the absolute highlight of the early access build for me is the online multiplayer. You can jump online with up to 8 players, and let me tell you, if you've been yearning for a return to those crazy trash-talking online lobbies, then this is it. Now the AI is actually good, it puts up a good fight, but there's nothing quite like the unpredictable chaos of real humans holding real grudges. Now if you're up for it, join us on my Discord, and if enough people are interested, we can definitely get some online matches set up in this game in the future. And remember, joining my Discord is free, and there are also plenty of help sections in there, best settings from me, and also other users in a number of popular PCVR sim racing titles. So, whether you are playing Capture the Flag or just trying to turn your friends' cars into absolute scrap metal in death mode, the multiplayer is endlessly replayable and the perfect VR party game to jump back into when you want to break from the ultra competitive sim racing leagues. You just load it, hold the throttle wide open and see what happens. Now, if you have a group of friends looking for a wild, high-speed PCVR experience to run together, this is easily one of the most fun multiplayer lobbies that I've dropped into all year. It's loud, it's aggressive, and it's totally a blast. Let's move on and take a look now at the Stunt Mode. Now moving over to Stunt Mode, and I'm going to be completely honest here. As you can see from this footage, I was absolute garbage in this. When I first loaded in, launching your driver through a windshield to hit giant targets is definitely a completely different skill set than putting a precise apex on a track. But I have to admit, once I finally got into the swing of things and figured out the launch physics, this mode became incredibly addictive. It's just pure ridiculous arcade chaos, and it ended up being much more fun than I ever imagined it would be. So a quick note on the control setup. In case you're wondering about plugging in your wheel, expanded support is planned as they continue to update this early access build. You can absolutely use your VR motion controllers to steer if you want that direct hands-on feel, but for this footage I actually just used the standard Xbox Elite game controller. And it played completely fine on the gamepad. It felt super responsive, and it let me just focus on the absolute mayhem on screen. So next up in the Stunt Mode playlist is Cup Pong, and I'm just going to put my hands up and admit it right now, I'm absolutely rubbish at this one. No matter how many times I hit the ramp, I just could not master the launch. But here is the thing, even though I was failing miserably, it was still incredibly fun. There's something deeply hilarious about watching these physics play out in VR, seeing your driver go flying past the target when you watch from the cockpit. And it is surprisingly addictive too. You miss completely and immediately find yourself hitting restart, convincing yourself that on the very next launch you're going to get the perfect shot, but as you can see here, again I missed completely, absolutely miserably. Now I'm going to get my excuses out of the way right early here. As I mentioned, I'm running this on a standard Xbox Elite gamepad. When your muscle memory is completely hardwired for dialing in force feedback on a direct drive wheel for iRacing or threading the needle perfectly in Assetto Corsa, switching it onto a thumbstick to control a nitro boosted demolition car feels incredibly alien. I was overcorrecting, sliding out and frankly all over the track. I ended up running this specific gauntlet 3 times in a row, and the footage you are seeing is me fighting for my absolute life. It genuinely frustrated me when you miss a crucial checkpoint by a fraction of a second just because you misjudged a drift and you wrapped your bumper around a fence post. But the crazy thing about this mode is that the frustration doesn't make you want to quit. It does the exact opposite. It's incredibly addictive. Every single time that the bomb went off, I immediately smashed that restart button and I was convinced I could just shave half a second off that previous sector. Now, despite my total lack of gamepad skills, I found myself having an absolute blast, and it perfectly nails that just one more try loop, and feeling that literal ticking clock pressure in VR takes the panic to a whole new level. So to wrap things up, on top of all the madness we looked at today, this game also features a full career mode and a dedicated Flatout mode with a ton of different options to sink your teeth into. Honestly, diving into this title has been such a refreshing change of pace for VR. It brought back that pure chaotic arcade fun, and that is exactly what made me want to step outside of our usual sim rig routine to bring you this quick review. And of course, experiencing all of this on the incredible Pimax Dream Air has been an absolute treat. If you want to see my full deep dive hardware review of the Dream Air itself, I have that linked right here at the end of this video. And as you can see here, my Dream Air is currently rocking the fantastic Studio Form X1P facial interface, and if you own this headset or are thinking about picking one up, this specific mod takes the comfort and immersion to a completely new level. It completely transforms the fit for long sessions of high octane gaming. If you want to grab a Pimax Dream Air for yourself, you can head down to the link in the video description below and use the code NLSimGaming25 at checkout to snatch a sweet discount. Plus, when you buy through my link, you get benefit from my exclusive Pimax Ambassador support. If you experience any hitches or issues during your buying process or after, you can reach out to me and I will escalate your ticket directly and personally to my Pimax representative to get it sorted for you. It gives you a complete reassurance from start to finish, and you can find all the full details on how that works inside my Discord server, which remember is completely free to join. Overall, I'd give Flatout 4 a solid 4 out of 5 for sheer fun factor alone, and remember, this is still early access, and the developers promise even more improvements to come. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this style of mini review, and definitely leave your requests down below for any other games you'd like to see tested in this hardware next. Drop a like if you enjoyed the chaos, subscribe for more next level content, and I'll see you guys in the next video later in this week. Catch you soon.